Kendrick Lamar will likely release new music unrelated to Drake, unrelated to any beef in the next couple of months before February 9th, 2025, because that is when he'll be performing at the Super Bowl. Today, we'll go over how this can all go down and what hints he's given us towards that fact, so let's jump straight into this.
If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description.
Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So obviously Kendrick is riding big off of the momentum that the Drake beef has given him, that he's undoubtedly won, even though some Drake fans still want to have that a reality, but that's a big momentum that he's riding on right now. He's arguably at the biggest point of his career with the success of Not Like Us that is just commercially going through the roof, and I feel like Kendrick has never been as big as this before. Even looking at the numbers, Not Like Us now also surpassed Humble for his longest charting song, so that is a good starting point for rolling out new music. And we can't forget, he also recently gave us new music with Watch the Party Die, that one single track that he's released on his Instagram that we never really got, an official release for anything. It was one of those tracks like 616 in LA, and Watch the Party Die, I think a lot of people misunderstood that track. Watch the Party Die wasn't a direct diss track or anything like that towards Drake. It was more of a metaphorically speaking track of him watching the current state of hip-hop that he is not happy with because it is superficial, because it is surface level, die, and he is the one that is bringing about the change and this new movement of bringing it back to the roots, having a more hopeful message in the music that is replacing this newer generation of people that Kendrick is not really happy with. So that track is already out. It kind of came unexpectedly, but it was definitely something that shook up the industry a little bit. Now let's get to the obvious thing, which is the Super Bowl. He's performing at the Super Bowl in February in New Orleans, February 9th to be exact. He's announced this through a trailer that he gave us a couple of weeks ago, and there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this, kind of around the pick that they made about who was going to perform at the halftime show, because it would have been an easy choice to just pick Lil Wayne because it is in New Orleans, and a lot of people said that that is obviously somebody behind the scenes pulling strings, making it Kendrick because they want to kind of throw shots at Drake, and that could be very well true, because if you take a look at who's actually deciding on who's performing at the Super Bowl, it all ties back to Roc Nation, all ties back to Jay-Z, and he's apparently the one actively deciding who is going to be the guy performing, or at least having a veto in blocking certain artists or enabling other artists to have that way, in which case he might have, decided against Drake and sided with Kendrick for him to perform there. Either way, Kendrick gave us this one trailer in which he announced his decision to perform at the Super Bowl, and there was one key moment in there that was very obviously directed at Drake. He said only one opportunity to win the championship. He said this referring to the Super Bowl, but obviously that could be very well tied back to the both of them and their beef. And then he said no round twos, also in the kind of sports metaphor that he's speaking, but that is obviously connected to the round two suggestions that Drake has thrown out there on his story with, multiple things hinting at a comeback, hinting at a round two, hinting at him releasing new music, and Kendrick is kind of shutting this down, saying, okay, that was it. You can't get a round two, and that would likely also mean that if Drake ever comes back trying to incite a round two, Kendrick will likely just ignore that. And I think it's about time, because, Not Like Us has already kind of died down when it comes to the hype, or at least people got used to it, and now it would be time for Kendrick to release a new album, not following in the footsteps of Drake or any situation connected to the beef, but rather following the mission that he set out on Watch the Party Die, namely, that movement that he's trying to start with replacing some of the top themes being discussed in hip-hop and the stuff that he's not happy with. So he's likely releasing something before the Super Bowl to have something to perform. That is the thing that would make the most sense. He's likely also gonna, kind of sneak some Not Like Us in there. He's likely gonna have some other big hits from him. I mean, there's not just one track that is being played at the halftime show, but there's got to be new music that is played. I don't think that he will just go on the Super Bowl stage and perform Not Like Us and Humble and some other tracks that people know. I do think that he wants to perform new music, and that would mean that he would need to drop before that. Now, whether he'll drop the whole album before that is something that I'm not sure about, he could also just drop a single and have the album come out later in the year. Maybe that would also be the best option, not for him to rush out an album. There are different ways that he could obviously do this, together with Baby Keem, maybe just a solo record, maybe even having some of those West Coast artists that he's had at the pop-out show in Los Angeles be on the album with him, maybe performing with him at the Super Bowl. I think Dr. Dre could be a given. He's been there, he's done that, and he's also closely connected to Kendrick and the whole West Coast, so that could definitely be a very sure pick as to who's going to join him on stage, because likely he's going to have somebody on stage with him. Usually it's not a solo act performance when it comes to the Super Bowl halftime performance, so Dre will likely be on there, and I'm excited to see who else. Maybe we'll get a surprise performance from Baby Keem on there. That will be a big move for him. So considering all this could be the biggest moment of Kendrick's career when we combine all of this together with the momentum from the Drake beef, with the success of Not Like Us, with his hints at trying to start something within hip-hop, some sort of movement, and with him securing the Super Bowl halftime performance. All of this combined can make for one of the greatest album rollouts of all time when it comes to Kendrick, when it comes to the past 10 years. And I think that somebody like Drake is punching the air right now, because he could have obviously also been one of the guests when Lil Wayne, for example, would have performed there. He would likely also like to perform at the Super Bowl at some point in his career, and Kendrick is doing it now before him, and probably, you know, kind of like more dominant than him at this point, because right now I think I read a comment somewhere under the Watch the Party Die track where somebody said the three most feared words in hip hop right now in the industry is Kendrick dropped again, just because all of the stuff that he's dropped in the beef within the whole time, especially Not Like Us, were just undoubtedly some of the best tracks that we've gotten within any hip hop beef, within that Drake and Kendrick beef, within Kendrick's career in total over the past couple of years. So I think this could be the start of an amazing rollout for Kendrick's new album. Now obviously this is still a couple of months away. We're in September right now, so we still have 3 to 4 months before Kendrick could drop something, but I think there's a pretty good chance we'll still get something this year, likely maybe December, because then it'll have enough time to let it breathe, to let fans know the words, so that he can perform it at the Super Bowl beginning of February. And if I had to guess, I'd say a single in December, and then the album sometime early summer, maybe late spring, let's say April, May, or June of 2025 is when Kendrick's new album will drop. Now, when it comes to Drake, he's kind of hinted at a couple of new releases with his Summer Vibes Only that he's never delivered on, besides that 100gigs.org leak website that he gave us. And there's also this collab album with Party Next Door that he's been hinting at, but that is never coming. So at this point, I feel like Kendrick is just on a victory run, and Drake never came through on any of the stuff that he promised. I get that the fall is now just coming, so that P&D album could still come, but what about those summer vibes? Was that just it with the website? So I feel like all this combined is just another dub for Kendrick, and he's obviously just taunting Drake with those comments about no round twos and only one chance, one opportunity to win the championship. But at this point, let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think that Kendrick will drop some new music, whether the whole album or just a single, before performing in February in New Orleans at the Super Bowl? And do you think that the album is then coming next year? All your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.